Hey everybody, it's your boy Stick, coming from you live in the new place. I gotta adjust my hat. I know I said that I would be a few weeks before I uploaded another episode of the Honestly Lazy Show, but something that happened and I literally had to hop on this opportunity, and I'm so thankful that I did. And I feel like I had to do a little bit of an introduction to this episode of the Honestly Lazy Show because it is my first interview, and it's with two of my old college buddies. They go by Brandon and Gabe. They literally drove all the way down from Markham. Brandon is from Arthur, which is 3 hours away, and he did the trip down just because I said I want to interview you two, because these two are hands down the top moviegoers that I've ever seen in my life. They've pretty much seen every movie in 2017. They went to film school with me, so they understand cinematography and all that type of stuff. And pretty much every movie they've told me to go see, I haven't been disappointed. So with that being said, in this episode of the Honestly Lazy Show is part one of a two-part interview with these two. And in the first part, it's pretty easy. It's us just talking about Durham College, hardest assignments that we had to do while we were in Durham College, the 48-hour film challenge that all of us had to take part in, and pretty much the best movies they thought in 2017. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed part one. I'll do a little intro video for the second part for next week, but until next time, it's your boy Stick, but enjoy the interview.
Welcome to the Danger Zone.
You guys fucking suck at clapping. You make it so awkward.
I have a beer in my hand.
Oh,
man.
God.
Break the beer bottle.
Put the beer bottle down, do the clap.
Alright, we're gonna do this again.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Honestly Lazy Show. This is episode 9, I do believe, because I've been doing the side videos, right? But it's harder to get Craig on the show, so since this is my first ever interview, I'm like, fuck it, this is going to be episode 9, because I got my two good buddies, Gabe and Brandon Lemons.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, he's giving the middle finger because he's a heavy metal dick. And these two were my pretty good buddies in college. We were film buddies. Pretty much all we did was talk about film, so I figured bring them on the show because they have the best reviews on films, because Gabe posts a review on Facebook every time about the movies he's seen, and I'm like, you should probably make a YouTube channel and review shit, but apparently you're too goddamn busy.
Too many of those out there.
Yeah, but who cares? Just do it.
Nobody's gonna watch me.
You can be on Beard. You can be on Beard Pod.
Yeah.
Just
You can be on the Beard Pod Network or Podbeard.
Yeah.
Podbeard. Sorry. All right. So, tell us about your background first.
First of all, thanks for having us on here.
Not a problem.
Fucking finally.
Yeah.
Yeah, shit.
Talked about doing this for so long, we never got to.
Thank you for Brandon, who
Driving
drove
down here.
3 hours to come on the show, which is amazing. That's just
You know
dedication. And we're drinking beer. I don't know if we're drinking Bud. Okay, fuck it. I'm not censoring out my beer.
Yeah.
I'm too lazy.
So is this your first show in this house?
Yeah, you guys are the
Yeah.
first episode in the new house.
Ooh, make
Oh, by the
history.
way, this is my new house. Yeah, I talked about it in my last little boy stick rant, and it's all right. That's all I have to say about that.
It's a good place.
All right, so you gotta give us a background. You both gotta give us a little bit of your background. What got you both into film?
I just wanted to do shit, man. I've always wanted to make films, and I fucking just did it.
I just fucking
Just
did it.
fucking did it, man. There's no. Well, it was mainly probably because I couldn't do anything that required actual schooling, like
No.
textbooks and academic work.
So you couldn't do university?
So I just no, fuck that. No, so I didn't have the grades for university.
No.
So I just, yeah, man. I don't know. I actually don't know how I got into this. Because I wanted to be, like, when people would ask me like, what do you want to do? I would say like, I would just give them like a boring kind of like everyday answer, like, what are you gonna do when you grow up? And I'd say like, I don't know, I'll be a police officer, I'll be whatever, right? But, like,
You as a
all that
police
shit,
officer.
yeah, if you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah,
And all that other shit, like, it requires like, actual fucking schooling. And I was like, well, not that film doesn't, but I mean, it's just I was never even the kind of guy to be like reading books and all that.
No, the thing about what we went to school for, especially film, is that from day one, the whole 2 years was no, like, except for our one editing class, that was 6 hours, it was all hands on.
Yeah, man. Oh my god, I can't.
Yeah, we're not even going to get into
No,
the old...
it's great. I don't even know where to start. I mean, that's 2 years worth of shit that we got to talk about.
There's 2 years. The first thing I'd like to say is that both your shorts were actually... No, your chase scene was really good, and your short in the second year was really good.
Yeah, man, like...
The toonie, I like the toonie veil.
The toonie, yeah.
You gotta tell the story of the background of the toonie.
Alright, so, in regards to Gabe, I was on a similar boat. I wasn't really textbook smart. I didn't really pay attention. I just did the work. I was really into horror films when I was a kid. Like, the one that really got me inspired to do film was Dawn of the Dead, like the remake, like with Ving Rhames.
Yo, that's a good
Mekhi
one.
Phifer,
Yeah.
Zack Snyder, and I was like, wow, that shit's really cool. I gotta do all that. Like, I gotta do something like that, or at least be a part of it, at least. And the Toonie thing came from, like, I don't know what it was. Like, I had to come to the chase scene, but I said, okay, I don't want to do... I know for a fact we can't do anything crazy, like some Captain America shit where there's, like, flipping and all that stuff. I don't know any gymnasts. I said, what the hell can I do that's simple,
But, like, perfective.
but like, creative is what
Yeah.
I want. I don't want it to be just like, oh, like, he's running. And the next thing you know, I had a buddy who came home to visit, and he's like, "Oh shit, I need like it was a loony."
Yeah.
He's like, "I need $1," and I was like, "This motherfucker's not gonna pay me back."
No.
And then it kind of clicked when I was coming out. I was like, "Okay, what if there was like this toonie like that? This guy like he asked for a toonie for a drink, but the guy really wants his money back." But it's so absurd, like, you know, he sees him, he's in different clothing, he's at these places, kind of like a teleporting ghost kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then, like, to top it all off, I was like, man, like, what's more terrifying to make him pay back? Like, what's so terrifying? Because, like, you know, you could outrun those, like, you could travel the country. And I was like, what if there was a giant purple nurple, like a giant titty twister, but he lifts them up in the air, like,
yeah,
because that's what he does. He, like, pushes them against it, and he lifts them up in the air. And then he was like, I want my toonie, you know, and all that shit. And it's funny, my cousin's kid, she showed her that video. And apparently she loves it. It's like her little cartoon because it's kind of like that.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, she loves it. Apparently she would always go around the house being like, where's my toonie?
And you did it for free.
Yeah.
I did it for free. Hey,
We're all on a budget.
Yeah, we're on a budget.
How long did it take you to film that?
Man, that was like a couple years ago. I'm gonna say maybe 2, maybe 3 for reshoots. Maybe on the third day we did small.
3 what?
3 days.
3 days.
I'd say 3 days.
I'd say 3.
3 days. 3 days for like real. Like I think the third day was all reshoots.
3.5 hours. My chase scene. I did a chase scene when I was in college. Remember my chase scene, Gabe? Where it's the guy robs the bank.
Yeah.
I had my brother. It was the perfect weekend because my whole chase scene was my brother said he'd do the chase scene with me. So I had to work the 4 a.m.s. So I said, all right, here's the story. You rob a bank, you run through the path. I used to get some cool shots of you running through the path. And even to this day, I'm like, that was probably one of the best filming I ever did. I had that guy in frame so well. And if you want to check it out, go over to Small Town City Productions. It's on there, actually. So I had him run through it. And at the end, my buddy Glenn was going to shove him over and take the bag and run. And the title of it was Thieves Are Dicks. That was the title.
You know what's funny too is like knowing you, Justin. That'd be like what you would name it. Like,
Yep.
That'd be something that you name it. And I'm like, yeah, Justin did that.
And it was the perfect weekend because my brother went out drinking, and I made him run for 6 hours straight, and he was hungover. And then to top it all off, I made my buddy Glenn shove him over about 6 times, and Glenn started actually like shoving him because he knew he was hungover. So he actually was like making him eat shit, and it was hands down probably the funnest thing I've ever shot. It was even, I feel like my chase scene was better than my short. My short had a story of just a guy dealing with a breakup, but I tried to make it funny when it wasn't.
Hang on, your short was the one with Trevor
and Kevin.
Kevin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was shit.
I had a lot of fun doing those.
Tell us
the
about
short films are fun, man.
You gotta tell you. Gabe hands down had one of the best shorts. It was between you and Keith with the shorts.
I'd say Keith was better.
No, Keith was very well shot. I cannot believe it, and he's an amazing writer. but yours was like I actually felt like I was watching a horror movie.
Well, that's great to hear. I'd say that. Well, Keith's thing just had I think it had more of a meaningful plot.
Yeah,
obviously,
Yeah,
it was a romance.
It was something like
it was a romance film.
It was beautiful and tragic. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's what.
But anyways,
it had a very nice pace to it.
Yeah,
exactly.
So on in terms of me though,
tell them about your horror movie because we don't have it.
I made a horror film, a short horror story. It was about how long? 10 minutes.
No, yeah, about 10. I
think it was 5.
No, it was. I think it was 7 minutes. The one that I handed in was 7 minutes. But
yeah,
I had
but the original cut was
10
minutes.
10 minutes.
Holy shit!
And so our professor at the time was like, "It's got to be 5 minutes long." But I'd say that we were on good terms with him.
Yeah, Mark was.
He was on good terms with us as well. So I was like, "Yeah, he can't. He's not going to penalize me too hard for having it go over 2 minutes." And it's only 2 minutes. It's not like.
And the thing was, it wasn't 2 minutes of garbage. It was 2 minutes of holy crap. This is actually getting scary as hell.
So I remember. It was me, Vic, Keith, and Brandon over at my house. On this one weekend, and I think we only had because we also had to shoot Keith's
thing.
Yeah, and this is like
worst case scenario
winter. Or maybe it was in the middle.
It was in
the middle of winter.
It was in November.
November. Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah, there wasn't snow on the ground yet, but it was fucking cold.
Oh my god!
So I remember. So on the Friday we got back to my house.
All right, that should be enough. All right, I just fucked up and accidentally clicked pause. So we ended off with Gabe saying how cold it was, and we got back to the house on Friday.
Yeah, so to pick up, I
fucked up.
I go home on the weekends. So I'd go home Friday and I'd come back to school Monday morning. So we had 3 days, not even 3 days, 2.5 days to shoot.
Oh my god. Yeah.
So for my short, I had the actual sequences with the characters doing shit, and then there's the dialogue sequence because I was cutting back and forth from the events and the dialogue. So we had
to be clear, just so because it's hard to for people to imagine, so you gotta really describe it. So he's talking about the thing is he's sitting with a priest telling him what happened the night before. So he was cutting back and forth from the night before to talking to the priest.
So I probably should start off with that. So essentially, the short film is about a guy who gets possessed by the spirit, and I don't know if I'll spoil it, but just in case people want to watch.
Is it on YouTube or anything?
No, it's not.
It's
on my website. Yeah, but maybe I'll post it. So yeah, it's like a horror film about a guy who gets possessed, and the priest there's a priest. He calls in a priest to help him, and then so pretty much the structure is it starts off at the end of it, and then it does one of those 3 months later, 3 months ago, or early May kind of things, like Tarantino almost.
Yeah.
And the events play out from there. At the end of it, you'll see exactly what moments led up to the beginning of the movie. So
good.
So I remember it was on the Friday or the Saturday where we shot all the sequences where it was my character who's the main character who walks around the house and there's a demon that haunts him, and then the event at the end, and then on the Saturday we shot the dialogue scene between the priest and myself sitting at the table, but we stayed up pretty late to do all that and we were all tired.
I remember we went to go to McDonald's after we were done shooting because we were so hungry from working so hard. We went to go get a kid's meal.
Nothing wrong with the kid's meal.
Exactly.
The film was, I'd say it was awesome. The only problem I would have done differently was I probably would have got an actual boom mic instead of just the 2 Rode mics. Because we put 2 Rode mics on the 2 cameras.
What you needed was a Zoom recorder too.
Yeah, and a Zoom recorder as well.
Yeah, that's why I had an issue with mine was.
Yeah, so we had the 2 cameras set up. So one was facing me with a Rode mic on top of that one, and then
2 over the shoulder shots.
Yeah, 2 over the shoulder shots, and then on each camera they had a Rode mic, and then we had Keith holding up a Philips light above the table that we were sitting at because the light that we had at my house was too bright and it wouldn't look natural.
And I've been to that house and I totally you shot it in the kitchen, right?
Yeah, so I shot it in the kitchen, and
and I totally agree. It was I can't believe you guys made it this creepy.
Yeah, and I actually got the idea from there was somebody that did a film noir at school. I don't know who. I forgot who it was.
Trevor probably. That one where the ball bounces down.
No. This is during the 48-hour film challenge.
Oh my god.
Somebody did this idea where it was a film noir, and they had a light shining down on the table that the two characters were at, and it lit it up like everything around them was dark.
Yeah.
But only the characters were lit up, and the table was lit up. You know what I mean? So I kind of got the idea from that.
That's something we gotta talk about next. That 48-hour film challenge.
So I had the table lit up and my face lit up and Brandon's face lit up.
Yeah.
And that took a while. I just wish that, first of all, like going back to the mics, I had better audio equipment, because the Rode mics they're not like these mics where they pick up direct audio from like your voice. They Rode mics will pick up everything. So that's why when you edit, there's gonna be like white noise.
Like from like an air conditioner. Or anything.
So like almost like static. But at the time, like I still wasn't too familiar on how to use a Zoom mic. The Zoom recorder.
No, nobody was,
because nobody actually used it. Or we could have used like the
lav
mics too, but
at the same time, same issue if you're plugging it into a camera.
Yeah.
Same issue if you're plugging a camera. No,
but
I have to try and hide it too.
We had equipment problems. The lighting situation was all right.
Yeah, because you had the three LEDs.
We had the Philips lights, which really helped, because at the time, everybody was trying to get them.
And we had a plan. We came up with a plan, literally.
Because we had 3 sets at Durham College, and everybody needed them because they were the perfect kind of lights for whatever environment you were shooting.
Yeah, they were just so convenient.
And they were. And
they
should
change the temperature. You could change how bright you wanted it to be, and there are 3 of them. Yeah. So what we did was I booked them out, and then when I returned them, Brandon would book them out, and then let me use them, and then we would just keep switching back and forth. And there wasn't a rule that said we couldn't do that. So we found a loophole in the system, and we exploited it.
He fought the system.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That was great and everything. I just I wanted when I was coming up with the idea of the scenes where I was walking around and this thing was following me, I wanted to make it like kind of like a James Wan inspired, almost like The Conjuring, where little things happen that build up to like it builds up like an unsettling feeling. Oh yeah. And then eventually there's like the payoff at the end. But
and it was a very nice payoff.
But we were the thing is we were so tired, and we were kind of running on fumes at that point, and we had so little time because we shot my entire short film in 2 days.
Yeah.
We were so pressed for time.
And note, it wasn't just like Gabe's that we were focusing on. We also had to do Keith's. We had to do some of mine too, and it was very frustrating. Like it was like we had a 4-hour window a day for Gabe's. We had to go for it.
And that's the most frustrating thing, especially when it was at Durham College, is that you needed actors. So you get a group of guys, and it's like, well, if you come into mine, I'll go into yours.
Be paid by IOUs.
Yeah, and it's like so many IOUs, and it's like, fuck. So we could get everything shot, but then none of us have time to go edit our video because we're helping out this guy.
Yeah.
Like for me, it was just Trevor and Kevin sitting in a room talking about going through a breakup, and then and that was it. But then Trevor had to do his, and that's when all of us went in, and we had to do that, and his was great, but it was a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie. We sat there. I took 3 hours a day to shoot mine, and that was it. But Trevor's was like, I don't know what it was, because they had a montage moment where you were trying to explain everything, and we had to do so many different type of like motions and reactions.
I remember the horse head and
and it was hot as fuck in there.
It was a fun time though.
It was a great time.
Fun.
It made us stronger, man.
But so I guess the point is, it goes to show how creative process would work
on a film set.
Doesn't depend like. I had a friend tell me, it's not about the equipment you have. It's like who's behind the camera that makes the movie.
Exactly.
Which I understand wholeheartedly after doing this program, especially for 2 years and doing this. But as I was saying, like I wanted to have like. Every single time, like I turned my head or something to look at whatever goes,
something was there.
Something like it would have like its own sequence. Like, but instead we were so tired. We just like there's a shot where I'm in the basement. I go down to the basement. I see the entity like face to face for the first time. And when I walk down there, instead of having it like a suspenseful shot with like my eyes like looking up close or something, and like a slow pan over to whoever's standing there. It was just like an open shot of me walking down and then turning, and then like a cheap jump scare. But I look back at that now and I just like I wish I could do that differently, but we were so pressed for time.
Oh, dude, it's like
everybody was tired.
It's like me with my chase scene. I look back at that and I color corrected it and everything for my final portfolio. And I was like, I could have done this shit. I could have made this so perfect. And everything that I ever edited when I was in Durham College, I look back at now, I'm like, I could have done a few more shots.
Yeah.
But that's what, I bet you like Christopher Nolan and everybody, they sit there and at the end they have everything.
Yeah, well.
Oh yeah, that's how it was for mine.
Well, we learned a lot more even after that.
What do you guys think was the hardest project? All the assignments.
I got
definitely
one.
Matt Kessel.
Matt Kessel. That's the one I'm
the final one though, where like you dub like all the audio, create the sound effects. That one is like Vietnam flashbacks, man.
Yeah, that's bringing me back flashbacks.
About that assignment in general, it was interesting because it gave us all like a little taste of how Foley artists do,
and like how much work it takes to make something amazing,
to make something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
And so the purpose was to find a scene that takes place indoors and outdoors.
Like
so
not indoor, outdoors. It was two different environments.
Two different environments.
A hallway and a bathroom.
So you could change. Because when you step into a room, the sound changes.
Yeah, like us in this room right now, and then we go into my bedroom.
Like for example,
outside or something.
Like for example, I did Road Trip. I did the scene of Road Trip where they jump the bridge, but there are shots inside the car, and then there'd be shots that take place outside the car. Yeah, so that's what I had to do, and we had to find like at least a 1.5 minute to 2 minute clip between that, and
might add that. These two, like Brandon and Gabe, were in the studio for 7 days straight.
We were in the studio for like hours.
Because we at Durham College, they have this shitty little recording room, which is just a mic and like a little soundproof thing and a MIDI or a software that you can plug in your USB and you can record. And then there was the actual recording studio, and that's where everybody had to go shoot their voiceovers and their sound effects and all that. And it was fucking impossible to get in there. I had to go in at 7 at night and stay in there until 3 in the morning.
And that was the issue with it.
That's what we did.
And that was the issue. It wasn't necessarily the studio was bad. It was just they only had one really good one. And we had to share that with a whole bunch of other classes. And we would have to book the studio at like 4 in the morning. So we would like wake up at 12 and have to be there at a certain time to get ready.
Around that time, everybody had assignments to do.
And they all... Because it wasn't just the film students. There was the broadcasting students had to go in there.
Journalism kids.
Yeah, and we're all sitting there and we're like, we're fucked. Yeah. I didn't think I was going to finish that assignment, but I did. I forgot what I got on it. I think maybe 70.
So
75,
it was,
I think, for mine.
That was it was hard, but it was a lot of fun.
It made us stronger, man. Like
every assignment we did made us stronger. Like there was a green screen assignment for Thomas, with like our final assignment where
yes, where we had to create a show intro, right?
Yeah, and I lucked out for my group. I had to do sound effects because there's so many of us in the group.
I remember. Was there like 6 or 7?
Yeah, and my laptop was so slow it could barely run After Effects. So I was like, give me sound effects. So I put it in Premiere and put all the sound effects in. Man, I made that shit sound so mint. I don't care what anybody says. I could be an audio guy, but I'll probably never be. I'd rather just be in front of the camera and talk into a microphone than anything.
Oh, I remember like we were helping out another guy. He was doing Ghostbusters. But he like he did
names.
He did.
We won't reveal names. No.
He did Ghostbusters, and like he did it because he did it because he loved Ghostbusters. Like that's why he did it. But then at first he was like, oh, it should be simple. There's a lot of sound effects and stuff. But then it sounds like it makes sense when you do a movie like on like paper. He's like, oh, it's just like there's not a lot of talking. He goes, all it is just we're getting this. It was a scene where they're trapping a ghost or whatever. And it sounds simple. You're just going to make it. But then after a while, like he tells me, he's like, oh, there's a lot of scientific dialogue. There's a lot of ghost dialogue. Like big words. And then I was doing his, which was Jay and Silent Bob. And Jay and Silent Bob was hard because he would say all this slang.
Oh, yeah.
And all this, like, Jay would say all this, like, swearing, all this slang, all this weird shit. And, like, at first it sounds simple. because you're like, oh, but then you do it and it's like a whole different story.
Because it's not, because everyone like thinks I thought it was going to be easier, but then when you get in there, you have to do, your voice has to react to what's going on.
Yeah.
So you're like, if you're scared, you have to actually act like you're scared. And I was like, I was doing what was it called?
Wasn't yours Reservoir Dogs or something?
No, I did Detroit Rock City.
Yes,
but
yes,
Peter,
the washroom scene, right?
Yeah, Peter did, a buddy of ours who's doing amazing in film right now. He's working for a company, just fucking killing it. Shout out to Peter Elvester.
Nice,
I don't know
for him, man.
Yeah, he's fucking killing it. He was always good. He never came out and partied like Trevor and I did.
Yeah.
He went out and shot the Red Bull Ice thing out in Ottawa just one weekend for lifestyle and stuff like that. But I had to do one of his, and I had to be Channing Tatum, and I couldn't do chewing. They had to bring Kevin in to do the chewing because I wasn't believable.
Yeah, what was it? What did he do?
21 Jump Street, right? That was
the movie.
Yeah.
I remember because he did the washroom scene where like, and I don't know how you guys would be able to do that, man.
Dude, that would
be so hard.
So in the washroom scene, they're trying to throw up, and I think it was Kevin. We sat there, and I was actually like almost throwing up, just trying to get the reaction he wanted, and he was like, "Okay, he finally got it," but I was literally like almost vomiting, just trying to make the sound effects sound good.
And that was the thing with those movies, like going back to Ghostbusters and all that, it was like, it sounds like, oh, it's simple, like it has everything that you need in the criteria, but then you actually do it, it's like you second guess it. Like even for me, like all I did was a simple like crash, but then I'm like, holy crap, I have to do all this crashing, I have to do a set, like, you know, the seatbelts getting put on.
Yeah, and it's just like the little things you gotta do. Like for me in Detroit Rock City, I had to do 5 different footsteps, left and right for 5 different people. That took me 5 hours to do alone.
That's what I had to do. I had to do like they walk outside right in the woods. I had to make like find all these different footsteps, but I had to make it sound natural. I had to make it sound like leaves, crunch and all that. I think the funny part too, and I explained this. Me and Gabe were talking about this a couple days ago. We like brought back. We're like, we could never watch the movies that we worked on. I can't watch Jane Silent Bob again. I can't watch Road Trip again because that's gonna bring me back.
I haven't even watched Detroit Rock City.
It's ruined, man. Like being in that studio and listening. It wasn't just recording the lines; it was listening to the audio clips over and over and over again.
Yeah,
100 because it's got to match like the mouth movements of the characters, and it's got to match like the intensity and like the feeling of it. So. Like going back now and watching that scene, I would just think of like it would just ruin it for me. Like I just can't listen to it anymore.
Because it's just like I could have fucking made it 10 times better.
No, it's not even just that. It's just like I'm just so annoyed hearing it because it just reminds me of like I was.
And it was such a stressful time because I wasn't the only time we had to do other shit too.
Yeah, there was no air conditioning in that studio. There was no.
We slept on a couch.
I slept on that couch
I slept on the floor in the studio.
Because I had to go work at 4 a.m. Then I had to come to school and do that.
Yeah,
so it was like it was a pretty good. Like I remember at first,
it was a good learning experience.
Stepping into the studio for the first time, I used to think it was so cool because it was like, man, I've only seen shit like this in like music videos
or like behind the scenes of like DVDs
stuff of music videos and music producers and stuff. Mm-hmm. Being in there for the first time was awesome, and then. Had I known that we were gonna be in there for a week straight for like 12 hours a day, I would have just been like, man, I gotta enjoy this now. Before it comes to that. So there was like the interface booth where with the computer and on all the knobs and all that, and then there was the door that leads into the actual recording suite with all the padding on the wall and the egg cartons and stuff like that. So there was nothing. I think there was like one couch in there.
There was a little couch.
There's a little couch in there that could actually probably maybe it was like even smaller than this one that we're sitting on.
Yeah, and then there was a chair like this.
Yeah, and then there was one of those office chairs.
On the desk.
So we had to figure out like who was sleeping where when. So we took shifts. Like if you weren't recording, or you weren't acting, you could take the floor, or you could take the couch.
Yeah.
And then when it was that person's turn to record, you would just swap it. But think about the fact that. This was like a college assignment for students that the clip was only
a minute and a half, 2 minutes.
A minute and a half and 2 minutes.
That's what it had to be.
And it took
of audio, and it took us a week's worth of work with like 12 hours a day in the studio every single day for, just to get it perfect.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even perfect even by that measure. So definitely something that I would try and avoid if I ever continue to be in the industry.
So bringing it
the industry would be like
So changing up the topic from that, because that's a good point. So it takes, like you said, 12 hours a day in the studio. I've talked about this before in a little audio story I did, but the 48-hour film challenge. So imagine trying to do all that, but we had to shoot and write a script and everything within 48 hours.
Oh, I remember that.
And then you would have to deal with like equipment problems. Like everybody was trying to get the equipment, and they only had a certain amount of equipment for everybody.
And they that first year they did it, they were so unprepared. I heard the second year they did really good.
I heard the second year apparently was a little better.
And Finn won.
That's what I heard.
Oh yeah,
Finn won it.
Oh, Finn? No way, awesome. I love that.
Kevin told me that, so Finn, if you're watching this, man, fuck yeah.
Yeah, nice, Finn.
Photographer killed it.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
No,
the photographers have the best.
Has the best eye.
They have the best eye because
they're fucking creative.
Well, you know what? Because they see composition, right? They
don't
see what we see. We see stuff that we typically see, which is like medium. We see medium 2 shots. We see long shots. We see wide shots. Photographers actually see composition. They see lines. They see rule of thirds. They see all these interesting artistic perspective to it.
Yeah, I would do the 48-hour film challenge again, where you make a film in 48 hours.
But you're picking your own crew.
You picking your own crew, yeah. So I'd work with you guys because we've.
Totally.
Because we kill it.
The crew that I was with.
My goodness!
I'm not mentioning names or anything, but
I was about to say,
same here.
I'm not gonna.
Yeah, nobody really gets to exploit anybody. But the point is,
pretty much everybody who's in every crew, shit went south.
Oh yeah, like in
everything.
Like in my group.
And I still won Best Western.
Nice. Like in my group, the issue with my group was, like I said, I'm not naming names, but half the people were including myself, were into it. Half the people weren't.
Yeah.
So the half people that weren't really didn't. I'm being honest. They didn't really do much. They would be like, "Oh, I got stuff to do, or I gotta go."
Yeah.
Because they take it from different classes, like journalism and all that.
Yeah.
So and that was the issue. Half the group was committed. The other half really like they weren't into it.
They weren't interested.
They would just throw in ideas, or they would like check up on the editing process. That's about it. And that's what made it frustrating. The groups were really big for like a small 2-minute short film.
Oh,
like
yeah,
11
for sure.
people. And a couple of our guys didn't even show up.
Yeah, that was one big problem with my group. I remember I think at least every group should have had at least like 10 or 11 people.
Yeah.
I had like 5.
I think I came out
not
with
including myself.
6.
Yeah, maybe like 5.
That's including me.
Maybe even less. I don't remember. But
the thing was, the thing that drove me nuts about the 48-hour film challenge, and I'll say this, and I don't care if the dean hears this or not, is the fact that you brought in these students from programs that didn't know anything about film.
Yeah,
they brought in web development.
Yeah, like web development is a bad idea to bring into a film fucking thing.
Yeah.
No, like I didn't have any web development kids because they just never showed up.
Yeah, you lucky bitch.
I said I had.
We made ours act.
Oh yeah.
And he didn't care.
I had 2 photographers and 1 volunteer.
I had I had 1 photographer with me, and they wouldn't let her shoot.
2 photographers.
And then I had they rented out a camera, and I said make sure the audio is mono, not stereo. And they made it stereo, and everything was out the left-hand side with a boom mic.
Oh my goodness! Really?
So they had to mirror it. I don't know how they fixed it. They made. I was like, I'm not fucking editing this. I didn't want to put my name on it.
But no, neither did I.
But they mirrored the audio, so it was both sides. Thank God. But we somehow won Best Western after all the bullshit of our lead guy was like, I'll go home and write a script tonight. So we didn't even have anything shot the first day. We had 48 hours. We go in, and he's like, I didn't write a script last night. And I was like, well, what are we going to shoot? And it was pretty much, I was just like, you know what? Shoot whatever the fuck you want. I'm going to shoot some B-roll. And half the shit was my B-roll that was in that fucking thing. Yeah. And then you can see his boot in one of the scenes.
Well, it's not going to be perfect.
No.
Luckily for me, like, if you guys haven't heard of him, the guy in my group, his name is Carter Curtis.
Yeah.
He's into, like, he's really into movies and stuff. Like, he even makes Spider-Man short films, this person.
Oh, that's sweet.
His stuff is really good. And I was so happy to be in my group because he was so passionate.
Good.
And there was another girl in the group. I unfortunately, I forgot her name. I wish I gave her a shout out, but I forgot her name. They were both video students, and they were very passionate. They were first years, but they were very passionate.
Yeah.
They were really into it, and that's what made it better, was they were so passionate, and we had all these ideas, and they were like, yeah, let's make something good, and that's what we try to do. That's why I'm not disappointed in the final video I made. Obviously, I wish it could have been better, but yet again, It's only, 48 hours, literally, so it wasn't Like, I didn't expect it to be perfect, but I was happy with what it came out of.
We need to definitely bring you two back on because I want to keep we're going to keep talking right now, but we gotta get another fucking day to do this.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
But we're going on to the next topic, which is going to be, well, if you could pick one movie in 2017 for your favorite movie, what is it?
Like 2018 so far, or
2017?
2017.
And then after that, the movie you're looking forward to that you haven't seen yet for 2018.
I made a list of 2017 best movies.
I know. I
What was your
made a list
number
too.
one then?
I think it was Disaster Artist.
Really?
I put Disaster Artist as number one.
They did do a good job.
Yeah,
James Franco actually had Tommy's accent down to a fucking science.
I made a list. I don't have it anymore, but from off the top of my head, it was probably not. Well, Last Jedi came out in 2017 too. Obviously, I didn't put that on the list because that'd be really biased. I'm super biased against Star Wars, but I had Disaster Artist at number one. I had Mother at number two, and I had Dunkirk at number three.
I remember Mother. That was a really
Mother was a
creepy
great
one.
movie. I love
Is that
it.
the one where it's the twins?
It's Jennifer.
Jennifer Lawrence and Javier Bardem.
I heard that movie sucked.
It's a metaphoric
It's a
movie.
very cryptic, metaphoric movie, so not a lot of people would understand. It's got a lot of Bible references.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's
biblical
very
references.
niche. It's very niche. Can I name top three?
Yeah, go ahead.
No particular order.
I don't care. Go ahead.
Logan,
Logan,
which
was
I
I
love.
totally forgot Logan.
Yeah,
Logan.
Logan was a good one.
Yeah, Logan was great.
Blade Runner 2049. Man, that
I haven't seen that.
blew my
I haven't
way.
seen that guy.
And War for the Planet of the Apes.
Really?
That was a good one.
Very wonderful movies.
I'd
man.
say for me, if it was going to be cinematography, probably Dunkirk come out in 2017.
Yep, it did.
Dunkirk was one that I was always on my toes, and I was like, holy! I've never felt that intense in a movie theater.
It's a great movie. Man.
I'd say Deadpool was 2016. Yeah. Fuck, Deadpool is awesome. Deadpool is still one of the movies. I haven't seen the second one yet, but.
Second one's really good.
Second one's awesome.
All
Yeah,
I'm
check it
saying
out.
about Deadpool, and this is what drives me nuts about superhero movies, and my brother pointed out because I told him about Black Panther, and about the what are those? If you guys haven't seen it, sorry, but the what are
Everyone's
those
seen
scene.
Black Panther.
Everybody's seen Black Panther. And
But my
Avengers
brother,
now.
I told him that scene. He was like, all these Marvel type movies are now trying to be Deadpool. They're trying to have a funny character. I'm like, you can't do it.
Well, they did it before with Iron Man. What they had was quips.
But that was
They
the
had quips.
character.
They had quips though, because Thor would have quips. But what I like about Deadpool was it was totally we're not
so
like a regular
unique.
Marvel movie.
No, well, they're not as limited as the Disney.
Yeah,
Disney
no.
Oh yeah,
for
well,
sure.
well that's the thing, right? Like if you were listening to the directors, the actors talk about how the Marvel Disney movies work, like the Avengers, Thor, and all those guys. They actually say this is all the stuff that we want. This is the stuff that has to happen. So they have limits. While for Fox, they let Tim Miller, the director, be and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, you make whatever the best movie you can make. The only unfortunate thing was they slashed the budget. It was a lower budget superhero movie.
Yeah, but that made the movie better because they couldn't have the shootout scene at the end, so he just fucked people up with swords.
It was kind of a clever joke though, because it was a clever joke though, because that was the truth. That's one of, it was supposed to be $65 million budget, I heard, but then last minute they got cold feet. They're like, okay, we're cutting off $7 million. There's supposed to be a huge highway chase scene with Ajax Francis.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be a lot more shootouts. So Tim Miller, I forgot who was the writer. Rhett Reese, I think is the name. I might be wrong.
Yeah.
But he was like, we wrote in that what if Deadpool does a Deadpool thing and forgets his guns.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is so Deadpool as me being a comic book.
And
reader,
it's the best part is that the character of Deadpool, you could get away with that shit. Good luck Logan trying to do something like that.
Logan was a different movie. People want to compare those two, but I
can't
because it's two polar opposites. Logan, though, similar thing though. They had a lower budget than most superhero movies.
I've heard that Hugh Jackman said he'd go back into the Wolverine suit one more time for a Deadpool movie.
Like a Deadpool crossover, and
you have to, because he makes.
I would watch it,
Wolverine.
man. I buy a whole row of tickets. I'd be like, boys, come on, let's
we
watch
gotta
it.
go.
I'd say Deadpool 2 is better than the first one.
Really?
Yeah, I'd say it was, in my opinion. A lot of people disagree with me. A lot of people I've heard that they like the first one better.
It's one of those things. There's
I thought
I think they're on the same bar for me. I think they're both as good as the other. Deadpool 2 was good though. They're both on the same bar.
So you guys have seen Deadpool 2, you've seen Infinity Wars, so
yeah,
obviously
Infinity Wars is awesome.
I saw it twice, man.
So as of this year, though, I honestly can't remember what came out this year. Infinity Wars is definitely on my top 5,
Yeah,
top 3,
same.
top 5, 3 lists of best movies. I've seen so far. We watched Hereditary last night.
Oh my god, man! I can't wait to talk
So
about this.
him and I and two of my friends from high school watched Hereditary. For those of you that don't know, it's pretty much can't even describe it. It's just like it's such a twisted film.
It's not like a
like
movie.
have you seen the trailer?
No, I haven't seen anything.
Are we allowed to play the trailer, or we get pulled off YouTube?
I'll do it after.
Okay, we'll do it after.
Or post a link or something, because like people should check it out.
You know what? You know what I'm thinking now? Dude, we're already at like a half hour. You'll finish this little story because I want to hear a story about you farting.
Yeah,
and then we'll cut it and we'll just do like there's going to be 2 weeks, like 2 parts. So there's going to be one part of us talking, then the next week after we'll do the second part of this interview because this is like
I guess
this is too good to fucking stop.
Oh yeah, man.
But anyways, Hereditary, it's the horror movie. It's A24 Studios did it.
Yeah.
So it's like
They've
more
done
the
The Witch.
independent side. Yeah.
They've done The Witch. They've done Free Fire.
But that's a great movie, man. We and him we were talking about, and I decided to pretty much put it as it's the scariest film I have ever seen in theaters.
I've heard that was the one where like people were going insane while they were shooting on the set or something like that.
It wouldn't surprise me.
I wouldn't surprise me, man.
Like after seeing. Like we all hear about like scariest movie of the year, scariest movie.
Yeah, but
like,
you hear that about
it's a gimmick, right?
People walked out of the theater. For they said the same thing about Veronica.
The Netflix.
They said that about Sinister too.
Not Sinister
and I think they said the same thing about Conjuring. I remember.
I'm pretty sure every movie.
Well, anyways,
it's a gimmick, right?
Yeah.
Like you want to sell those seats, right?
But Veronica, they said like it was the scariest movie, blah blah. And people walked out, and I was like, I watched it at home one day with some friends, and I was like, it's pretty scary, but it's a good film. It's not nothing that'll keep you up at night or anything. It's not just mediocre. So I watched that. That was great. And then when we watched Hereditary, I was kind of like, I can see exactly why. It's like when they say people walked out of the theater, when they say it was the scariest film this year, it's not a gimmick. Like they actually mean
that's fun.
And to support Gabe's argument, there were people that literally. Support Gabe's argument, there were a couple that left. If you remember, they literally left.
Walk out. It probably wasn't because.
Sorry, I do that.
It wasn't because of
how scary it was. There's probably other
maybe
content.
Like people were talking or something. But the point is, if you haven't seen the film, definitely check it out because it's a very different horror movie. It's one of those. It's
just flat out uncomfortable.
Like independent horror movies. It's that it's unsettling. It's depressing. And then when it comes time to be scary, it delivers like
100%.
None other. It's like a fucking freight train that hits you in the face.
All right, so 5 stars. What would you rate it?
Oh, I gave it 10 out of 10 easily.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I give it like a 9.
No way.
9.
Like I would watch it again 100%. It's just the whole. It's around 2 hours long, and the whole first half of the movie is just depressing. Because it deals with like real life things that like people would deal with and emotions and stuff.
Yeah,
and it's well written too because like the dialogue seems so real. It's like this is how people would talk. It's not like
it's not like Hollywood where it's like that was clearly written by somebody like a writer. It was kind of like if this happens, this is how a person would react to that.
Yeah,
and I think that's one thing that movies, especially horror movies nowadays, lack. Definitely.
Yeah.
Like James Wan, for example, the guy that did the Insidious and the Conjuring.
Yeah.
I fucking love that series. Well, Insidious, at least the first two were really good, but
there's always the
bad.
but. I love that series, but.
Yeah. Or like the Conjuring 1 and 2, they were phenomenal so far. I don't know if they're doing a third one.
They're doing a third one, but James Wan isn't directing it though. I think he's just producing it, or I think he's writing it or producing it, but he's not directing it.
Yeah. So it's like those films are great, but it's like super Hollywood.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Where a lot of cliches like
someone
gets possessed,
or like it's like they go into a haunted house kind of thing.
It's literally the same plot line to every movie.
Yeah. But it's very rare that someone like James Wan can do it so well.
Yeah.
I really like The Conjuring. I can't even honestly put my finger on what makes a movie like Hereditary and what
it's its own unique plot. It's its own unique build up. Its own unique character development. Yeah. Like literally, like it's just an uncomfortable film. Like I tell people, if you have a weak stomach, if you get scared over like some like horror movie, like I don't know, let's just say Paranormal Activity 3. If you get scared over that, Hereditary you should not go see because you will lose weight. Movie. I lost weight watching that for sure.
It's a very disturbing movie. It's a very unsettling one, because it deals with death. like actual death, and it's like a lot of it, and it's just like,
Not interested already. Fuck that.
oh, but just check it out.
It's not just death,
Just
though.
check
It's
it
more
out.
to it than that. Like, more disturbingly into it than
it's
that.
unsettling. you
Like,
know?
literally, like, the story that you want to hear that I mentioned to you
Hey,
before the interview.
let's end it right here for part 1 of this interview.
Okay.
So this is the ending of part 1 of this interview. Be sure to check out next week because Brandon's going to talk about how he farted in the movie theater.
Oh, yeah, man.
That's how we're going to start it off, and then we're just going to pretty much talk about the movie trailers we've seen so far, the movies we're looking forward to, and probably just a bunch of dumb shit like that. Anything you guys want to plug?
No.
Hey, you want to find out that story? You watch the second part. You get
There
tuned
you
in.
go.
Pretty much it.
All right, we'll be back because I gotta take a leak too, and then we'll
Alright.
film second part. Peace.